1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Here's the deal for those of you tuning in. I am on my way to be sentenced as a violent offender who hath committed a violent offense by violating no one. They have used weapons to rob me of justice, and therefore, that's right, I'm going to get justice. And let's start off by, well, jaywalking like everybody else does. Since my 420 friendly nightclub, where I smoke pot in good faith, come on now, trying to make them come arrest me for smoking weed in every table at my club, they wouldn't do it in good faith. They arrest me as a front for drug trafficking, and now they arrest me as a violent offender. So, what I'm going to do, I'm setting that up. This is the courthouse in Shelby County, known by its address 201 Bobway. Many of you might remember the spot from 2011 when I smoked pot from an apple, fulfilling a pledge. Today, I'm supposed to be upstairs getting 12 years in prison. It's a violent offender who did nothing to no one, but instead, I'm going to stop by here and open up the very first, yes I am, the very first cannabis dispensary in Shelby County. Now, I am selling really high-grade cannabis as everybody runs for their lives. I love it. Great. I have high-grade cannabis for sale. I don't know.
When we come over here, I mean, it's open domain.
Somebody, let's see how long this deal will stay open. But I want it on the record.
It's open domain, so if you don't want to be recorded,
I have
come
the
over here.
first open 420 friendly night. Let's leave all that crosstalk out. No one's listening to that. Open the first 420 friendly nightclub in Shelby County. And me, didn't want to fucking do that. Now I'm opening up the first pot exchange right in front. So who wants to step up? Anybody, I have cannabis for sale. I have quality cannabis for sale. I am a pot dealer, exercising my right in a free market, free enterprise, free trade society where people have free will. So here I am.
Is it 10 a G?
Is it what's that?
How much is it?
It is $1 a gram. $1 a gram.
Yeah.
Buy it on. We gotta buy it on camera. There you go. Look at that. Whoa, all right.
Boy, what a deal.
Yes, I am dealing cannabis here in front of 201 Poplar. Hello, sir. I gotta tell you, it's gonna be double for officers. If you want to buy the cannabis as a police officer walks by me in the commission of a crime. Next, I'm going to rape somebody. I'm going to need a female volunteer. Yes, here you go, sir. Hey, baggie of cannabis for you. How do you like that? Now I got to keep the last one so I have something to bust me with. So it's going to be the last one. There you go. I'm going to take it. You close enough. All right, go leave that there for the next man. Somebody will need that. Thank you, sir, for stepping up. I still got one more bag of weed to sell as the police continue to ignore me. I got to keep this one. I got to tell you, you can hit the blunt with me. Well, I hit the blunt with me. All right, well, that was smooth. Here you go. Look. You part that cut out. Look at that. Some days you just can't get arrested in this town. I continue to deal cannabis in front of this place. I'm supposed to be upstairs to get 12 years in prison. I'm selling weed. The deadly Schedule 1 narcotic. Look,
$2 for the police officer. And it's $1 for $2 for the police officer. And
I'm waiting for the first lawyer to step up. And somebody with my same case together we'll sit at the table scot free. Oh, Sorry, guys, you're out of the running. They're stealing my thunder again. Hey, I'm peeling weed here. Let's take it factory direct.
Give me that. Oh, thank you.
I'm peeling weed in front of the building. I'm not armed. Well, gun, but no weapon. You know what I mean? This is cannabis. I'm dealing it. Price is double for all officers. I'm supposed to be upstairs for Judge J. Robert Carter Jr. being sentenced. I just don't know what's the definition of a crime. Some nation just can't get arrested in this town. Hi, I'm the KINGPIN Thorne Peter's. Welcome. You or yours received cannabis and prohibition-related charges. Drugs, prostitution, naughty lap dances. I have the law, no men's way. Hashtag no men's way, go free. We don't answer to the entity. The individual answers to the entity. Whatever we're going to do right now when we go home, it's up to us. We don't have to call anybody to get permission. No matter what sex we are, no matter what color we are, we all get to live free. And while we do it, we should smoke weed. Now there are people that wonder, what if they just don't arrest you? Don't you try to still arrest you. I got weed for sale. I just have to have it for sale. I have to have one baggie left. We might have to be out here for a few days. Look how long we're staying open. The first cannabis exchange in Shelby County. We didn't think we'd be here 5 minutes, and look at us now. It's almost sold out. We got to call the grocers. You know what? When you go to a town, you don't know where to get drugs or prostitutes, just find the courthouse, go over a couple streets. We can all score whatever we want. Heron, Percocets, it's all there. Look at this. Once again, stealing my thunder. Can you believe that I am standing here proving again there is no men's ray, since nobody has called for help? If somebody got on the phone and said 911 help, my life is under threat because this guy's blowing pot smoke. Then that's the wind of change. Uh-oh. To change our bullet. Papers, and then they're standing here. It's not about me, it's about freedom. It doesn't matter how you feel about what I do. Who cares about you? I don't know you well enough. You can rule my life. Through God or crown or government, I am the law. The individual tells us what is the law. The law is a two-party arrangement between you and me, not between us and the government. Hey, I appreciate you. I told you it was good weed. Thank you. I'm very satisfied. Good shit. I don't want to go down on some half-assed Reggie, man. Listen, see, when you get that grip from the hood, you know it's up there because you can't play in the hood. You come with the fucking slow. I'm from the mound. I'm the hound from the mound. Dealing that killer kush by the pound. And they won't arrest me. Yet they call it a crime. They arrest you. Don't come back here. No, just get the sniper from over there. Just open fire. You're stealing my thunder again. I'm here to deal cannabis. Hello. Will anybody arrest me for this Schedule 1 felonious act? You're just going to leave me hanging. Well, 7 years. That's when the next person comes by and they can really use it. I'm good. Hello. How you doing? I came here. You missed it. We got it on video. Where this is what we're reduced to. This is our media feed pool, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. From Channel 24, Jenny Aparicio. Now, she wanted to get here for the trial of the millennium. They played Where's Waldo with the jury. Oh, yeah, oh, hey, tomorrow, it's going to be later. No, it'll be now. No, it was over. It was yesterday. And so I've been standing here. Police have been walking by. I have opened the first cannabis exchange in all of Shelby County. Right here. No more pot dispensary. I don't care if you have a license. It doesn't matter if you have a license. I don't care if you're sick. I don't care why you want it. I personally smoke it because I'm a non-smoking heat business. I was just here. I nearly sold out. I had to hold on to the one last bag so they'll come and arrest me. They will not arrest me. Police have walked by and ignored me. They have closed the door. It's like, what am I supposed to do? Draw down. Hey, maybe they'll shoot me down. And so it's like, because on my paperwork, it says that I'm a black guy 4 different times on my paperwork because I live in the mountains. It's called redlining. I've never been mistaken for a black man except in the dark under the covers. I want that on the news. That's it. And so here I stand in front of 201 Poplar. committing this felony that I'm going to 12 years to prison for doing, dealing weed, and they won't arrest me because it's not in their interest. The only reason they came out on the other cases, they heard there were weapons in her house. They found me guilty of weapons that were in somebody else's house. And the judge, J. Robert Carter Jr., said that didn't matter. If you go over to someone's house, you got some weed, they got a gun, you're both in possession of it. Judge J. Robert Carter Jr., put quotes around it. The man who said to the jury and to me that when police lie on the stand, you cannot use their testimony from one cop to tell another cop they're lying. Apparently, he's the one person of that certain age that missed the O.J. Simpson trial. He must have missed that where, oh, we don't care how the glove got there. We're just here with it. So here I stand. How is this a crime? I am polarizing this moment. People will look at this and think it's some kind of a stunt. I'm here to prove that there's no mens rea, that the individual is all-powerful until you sign up for legislation that makes the entity more powerful. No mens rea represents us all. When you say medicalized marijuana, you say kingpin, go to fucking prison. See, that's what your medicalized, decriminalized weed says. Some of us go free. It's Jim Crow weed. It declares that some will ride at the front of the bus while others will not. Only 3% of America were denied the right to ride at the front of the bus, so what was the big problem? Now you have governors that say, sign this bill, and it will represent practically everybody. Guess what it means when they say practically everybody? That it doesn't represent me. It says that I will go to prison because there's no legislation. The courts will not follow the law, they follow legislation. The lawyers will not follow the law, they follow legislation. Therefore, we are denied our right to counsel for the simple fact that they will not follow the law. That they will not follow the law. But we have to follow the law because we're Americans and we're sworn to follow the law. So until the lawyers follow the law, we must proceed pro se to jury trial with the lawful offensive of no mens rea and the Human Rights Declaration of I am the law, and you do it on behalf of the KINGPIN Thorne Peters. I've earned it. I stand here creating the front lines for the lawful offensive of the tyranny against prohibition. Anybody who is in front of me is the enemy. If you call for legislation of any ilk, you declare that we are slaved by legislation. I declare that we are free at birth. I say to sensible people, look at the affidavit of complaint and show me the name of the victim. If there's no name of a victim, how can they proceed? And if it is a crime, how come I stand here committing this crime? Well, suddenly the cops have gotten the word to get off the street. Now let us not forget that in moments they'll come up here and they will have to take me into custody for not being upstairs being sentenced. But when you do, I have weed on me that you're going to have to deal with. And once you arrest me and bring me inside, it's now a Fed charge. So I demand that an agent from the Federal Bureau of Investigation come here and click on thornepeters.com and go to the conspiracy page to see the 9-year criminal conspiracy by the public officials in this town, the highest elected and ranking and appointed public officials. I want a member of NORML to come up here and articulate how they will refuse to follow the law, how they follow legislation over the law. I want a member from the World News, from CNN, to get here and tell the story of the trial of the millennium. That I prove that we are free at birth. There was no accuser to say differently. And I want one of these celebrity faux activists to step up and speak up. Until that happens, I will go on a hunger strike. I know, let the jokes begin, but I'll die just as quick as you skinny people. See what I have to do? Suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. You're going to make fat jokes. I'll tell you, talk about the girth while you do it as well. Let's give credit to where credit's due. So here we are. It becomes anticlimactic because they won't come out here and arrest me. Let us go down the list of crimes, show of hands. What crimes could we start committing that police would walk away from? I'll tell you, all of them where nobody's yelling help. How about an act of prostitution? I got a couple of bucks. What do you say? We'll see how long we give that. If I was sniffing cocaine right here, they'd be all over that. They will say we arrested the marijuana activist for drugs. And then I had narcotics, paraphernalia. What happened to the pot? Where did the pot go? When they executed my pot dealer, Brian Gregory Johnson, known to us as Hot Dog, a man who was in the business. They said he reached for a gun under the chair, under his seat in the car. He never carried a gun. He's a dope boy. He'd have bailed out and been home having dinner with his wife at the home they owned, raising their children that night. But he was shot down by the police. And when they shot him down, oh my God in heaven, that did not just happen. Oh my God. Holy shit, nobody go out there and get hurt. And we continue. For those, be careful. For Brian Gregory Johnson, we'll just see, we got this part. Except for the live audience, look at it, that's the drama. Brian Gregory Johnson was shot down by the police, and when he was, they said he was a man with a long criminal record. That means he was a pot dealer. Because if he had committed an act of violence, they would have said he was a man with a violent criminal history. And if they would have articulated it like rape and assault and domestic violence. Criminal record. That means weed. That means weed, and it always means that. They try to obscure and blur. Look at the bright side. They don't want to arrest me for dealing weed. And the President of the United States, as well as his henchman, Jefferson Beauregard Sessions III, believes that I should be executed for dealing weed. Well, execute me. And let me step back a little bit when I say that. Go ahead. See the red dot, everybody hit the deck. Execute me. I am here dealing weed in the name of freedom, in the name of a free market enterprise. Everything that we were guaranteed in America that has been robbed through legislation, through the courts. My number is 1-800-PRISON. Gently call Lady L, she'll be there. I am challenging lawyers. I need lawyers. That is Jet Lee, attorney at law, Esquire. He is a man of good conscience, but they all believe that they have to follow the law. Because the first thing everybody says, if you take away legislation, we'll all be lawless. Why, we could just run around and rape and pillage? No, legislation allows them to come and rape and pillage. I don't need justification from the court or nullification from a jury. I'm not there to offer them a rationalization. I am the law. The law is just this. You and I, all alone, in a room. What proceeds next? Must we call Judge J. Robert Carter Jr.? Help! I'm dealing weed. I mean, wow. I mean, you know, this is because in Hollywood they said, you know, with your talent you can't get arrested in this town. Apparently, I'm reliving that scenario. I can't get arrested. I can't, but it's at their discretion. They don't want to tell the story of arresting me, where it's heroic. Don't you remember? Yes, I'm me. I'm dealing weed. Help! I've got weed. Don't shoot. I'm white. And so when they told the story of Deputy Gary Beans, the only news channel that came out and told the story, Channel 24 News. The other two stories that told it referred to me as the guy. And that media bias, along with the court bias, played itself out in jury trial as they made certain that the media was not present. So are you here too? I'm all out of now. I'm holding that one. I'm not going to get arrested for it. You know what? If this goes over well, somebody else will step up, especially when they see it on the news. I wonder if they'll even tell this story. Some crazy guy was out there doing something. The end. And he was doing it in front of the court. And he was wearing a robe when he did it, but that's your last hit. So if you tell him it was a guy in a robe, you're going to know that it's the end. Judge J. Robert Carter Jr. and I had a great back and forth over, you know, we got to get back on the record to make sure they know who's, when he said the guy in the black robe, that they were talking to about me, not him. I said, well, for the record, that's a frock. Just so you know, this is a robe. You go to the disco with that. What do you go to with that? Oh, that's right. Those fraternity parties. An all-male organization where guys are doing down low things to each other, and that, but you're still not gay. We're all naked, but we're still not gay. It's a fraternity thing. So here I am. Thank you. You're watching this happen. Do you understand the narrative? To Matthew Pappas, to Michael Minardi, those of you lawyers out there that believe you are activists, I call out directly to Tom Lucky, who speaks to Morgan & Morgan and John Morgan, who's spending $100 million on medicalizing marijuana. That means you're spending $100 million to put me in prison. Thank you. I'll tell you what, buy me a big sack of fucking weed, say no mens rea, I am the law, and let's get out of here. You can keep most of that money. But at the Freedom Fund at thornpeters.com, there is a $1 million button. If you build it, they will come. And I will not turn it down, but I will stand here and earn it. Because waiting for me sooner or later when either I run out of air or they run out of patience, they have to come and get me because I'm a wanted man. They've called my name and I have not answered, and I shall not answer. I shall stand here and rot. Let the hunger strike begin. Well, right after lunch, there will be, the hunger strike will begin. After Subway, a little bit, yeah. But I'm here for you. I'm ready to go down. Look, there's another officer, quickly. It's going to take a while. He's got to win, but okay. I'm selling marijuana. Help. A deadly schedule. Hurry, you're making me late for Judge J. Robert Carter Jr. I want it on the record. Came here in the timely fashion, ready to be busted. Figure, you know, get there, get busted in a couple of minutes. I get upstairs, we're all good to go, but no. Now they've got me held in contempt. And all I asked for was a simple bust. One bust for possession for sales of cannabis. And all I'm down to left, I've sold so many baggies, this isn't barely possession. They want a clearance for sale. It doesn't matter how little it is. Thank goodness you're here, sir. I surrender. Don't shoot. I want you to watch this as they walk by this crime and commission. To prove to you it's not a crime. It's not a crime. God, please no sniper. That's not a gun. It's not a weapon. I gotta keep rephrasing this.
You have to decide on what to do. That's crazy.
Okay,
come on, man.
Come on.
And we need some help over here.
The last time we got the sheriff and the DA.
So,
now I'm a little bit.
So real quick, because I got here late. So are you purposely not going upstairs?
I'm not going to stand there and report to that criminal court. I'm demanding a new trial. You know the story of how they played games with Where's Waldo with the media. Why are we going there to cover the trial of the millennium? The trial of the millennium was covered like an accident report about a fender bender. They sent up one lowly poor girl up there, dear sweet nameless one. And so all she did was told that this is what you can and cannot run. I'm here all day.
Come on now.
Could you guys hurry? I'm going to be late for court upstairs. I'm trying to deal weed.
So don't put here making no time.
I'm supposed to go to prison for dealing weed, yet I can't get arrested for dealing weed. Does that mean I don't have to go to prison? Right. So I am purposely standing here because I will not report to them. I went to them in good faith, and Judge J. Robert Carter Jr. saw fit to suppress evidence, once again to intimidate the witnesses, but most importantly, he didn't want one word of that 9-year-long criminal conspiracy starting at my nightclub. The DA and the sheriff showed up for a $65 drug bust with the media and a guy to come through the back door for the perp walk, and 19 months of wrongful incarceration, followed by a jury trial for, I was facing 11 months, 29 days for a possession of pot charge. I was not in possession of pot. And the jury found me guilty of possession of not being in possession of pot. It's a little complicated. Let's hear again. Falsified reports, planted evidence, and perjured testimony by these highest elected and appointed officials. And once again, they have now done injustice. So I have to stand out here and make certain that I take a bust to show. They used the guns against me, guns that have been thrown out in the lower court by a judge, Rhonda Harris, that did not have an agenda. She heard the evidence that the guns belonged to someone else, this woman right here, the owner of the home. They heard that evidence and testimony. They heard evidence and testimony from the mayor of Pembrokeshire himself, Leo Uga, what? You know what, right? Yeah, so, hold it down. And so they knew the guns belonged to him. That judge did not have an agenda. She threw out the guns. They brought back the guns. How did they do that? And the jury used the guns in the commission of a crime. Because when you say guns, you say pimply-faced little geeks who can't get laid, who go around shooting people because they pimply-faced little geeks that can't get laid. And then you've got some jerkbag in the hood shooting some jerkbag in the hood over their sneakers. And the next thing you know, nobody can get a gun. They piggyback this right in our faces. And they tell us this is the new freedom. We're going to take away your rights. And you, the sheep, will line up and sign up. Well, if you want to end the tyranny, join me. Line up and light up. This is April 3rd, 2018. Put that on a t-shirt. I kind of like that too, right? Yeah. It resonates. Give that lady a band. Everybody gets a band. This is dramatic. Crazy guy in a row. Get my superhero moment. Here I go. I'm flying against justice. I'm going to have to take a nap here pretty soon, especially if I get some lunch in me. But I'm wondering just how long it's going to be Spread the word. We're free at birth. We do not need legislation. Look, every city will ignore legislation and fall into the trap. You're told you to go get a politricket to be free. I'm already free. I'm free at birth. I don't care if they wrote my name on my birth certificate, capital letters or not, or if your flag has fringes that are upside down. I am not a straw man. I am not a human animal. I'm just a guy. I don't have to be worthy. I don't have to be dying of Crohn's disease. I don't have to be a sickly little girl with seizures. I like to smoke. See, who's safe among us now? Just looking to commit a crime. I mean, if you're willing to commit one crime, you're going to commit another. Next thing you know, well, see, it's never about pot. It's always that gateway. It's always about pot. You know what the only thing they've left out in 80 years of that whole narrative about pot? That it makes white women go off with black guys. That's the only part they now leave out. They leave everything else in. But come on, say it. Article 11, Section 14 of the Tennessee Constitution. No, Negroes, mulattoes, quadroons, or octoroons can make it with white women. You have to pass the paper bag test. Are you in? That's your law, not mine. And Judge J. Robert Carter Jr. was quite proud of the Jim Crow South's heritage when I ran it into his face. This is loving me, Virginia, all over again. The entity is telling us how we could have sex in my own lifetime. What is the act? Having sex. Actus reus. But you can't have sex with this person because you're the wrong sex, the wrong color. You can't have sodomy, no oral copulation, no sex toys, no pornography. And, don't use birth control afterwards. This is all what put people in jail. In my lifetime, I'm not father time yet. We're talking 50 years. And this has been the reality. It's never changed. The war in Vietnam became the war on drugs. They don't conscript us into the army. They conscript us into the courts. The Jim Crow never ended. They don't tell you can't have a job because you're black. They tell you can't have a job because you got busted for weed. So take a piss test. Welcome to America. Are you a police officer? Can you please arrest me? I'm so tired. I need to be shown to my cell. Will you take me to you're starting that to kill my mojo. You're trying to block my cell. Let's take a higher ground. Let's try. You will not take my mojo. That's right. Keep going. Don't come back. I have taken over this corner. It's me getting you. I got you. That's right. It's like Mr. Smith goes to Washington. What would Jimmy Stewart be saying about now? Okay.
Pass. That's what
Yeah, well, you know what? You can finish that off. I'm doing my level best here to be as much a criminal element. Would you like to consort with the criminal element? You should be.
Oh, all kinds of
Ask you a
fun.
question. Have you now or never?
Barrel monkeys.
I got this.
I try to wait till fry my mouth.
Listen, bring them out in the open.
Never gonna make it.
Tell me your point. Oh, well, thank you. No, thank you. See, I don't care. I'm going to prison. Yes, I did. I have your thoughts. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you. Wow. Send me. Wow. I love women.
Send the legs.
Yeah, good Lord. I just... Wow! This came over here to give me a smile sheet, but you know, they all say the same thing. I experimented in college. Everybody goes to college to experiment with drugs and homosexuality. That's why I'm a junior high school.
OCU right there, now.
Well, OCU it is.
Yeah, what's up, OCU?
Hey, I'm dealing weed.
Baby, them the knocks.
Hey, brother, I'm still dealing weed. Will somebody please arrest me? I'm getting to work.
It's funny, you can name all the police in your name.
I'm going around the corner. Or I don't have to. There's cops over here. I can get some heroin easy enough.
Man, she smell good, man.
This is why I get a reputation as a loudmouth. I keep talking. I had a 5-minute obligate ready to go. But look at what the evidence is. Give up all of this nonsense that's going on around it. Okay, so it's kind of cool. Entertainment and enlightenment. The idea is that they're not arresting me. Does anybody else get it? Look on your affidavit of complaint and tell me when I start to go crazy. Ready, begin. If there's not a name of a person that says stop, help, police, court, jury, then we're done here. Cannabis for sale? It wouldn't take you a lot. You'll be high and well. Ooh. And so, yes, that's right. I'm inappropriate to women. Throw another log on the fire. I got years to do. I'm sure I can work that one off pretty quick. Add it on top. And so, this is what we're facing. Look at this. You think this is funny? There are people going to jail getting probation, violating probation with this. And it's dang near good long gone. I'm holding on to it to have a little something left here in the bag for them. By the time they get here, this is just going to wither. So is it crazy for me to demand that there's a name on an affidavit? Not public in society. That diminishes a human being to nothingness. That they can write on a line that the violation of the peace and dignity of society. Yes, that's what Governor Wallace used to say. Another detective, for God's sakes, what is it going to take? You're not going to have to launch another 9-month-long investigation. I'm right here. Do you see what I'm talking about? Why aren't they arresting me? Why aren't they sending the goon squad? Why am I not being pummeled? Because they will stop me in the commission of a crime. But you just said it was a crime, but you didn't stop me in the commission of it, yet it's a crime. Somebody stop this ride. How do you, the sheeple out there who flock tard and gather up follow quacktivists spouting ideologies, how do you support this? How can you allow the entity to proceed against an individual when the individual is the only person who can define what a crime is? A crime, an individual's rights are snowflakes. The law is a snowflake. No two people have the same law. Sure, we all agree we don't want to be beaten and murdered and pummeled and raped and robbed. What about some? Oh, well, now that's not everything. For me, it's unlawful entry, but for others, you know, who rides the sides. As we learned in the story of Deputy Gary Beans, we learned in that story. So what? He wants to go out and toss a little salad. I didn't have a problem with it. The department had a problem. He was doing it on his company page on company time. His wife of 32 years and no extra days was a little upset that he was sexting from her ancestral home on their 32nd wedding anniversary. That kind of sucks. You know, I mean, when I'm looking at you going, well, that's pretty low life, I mean, you really scraped the bottom. Because I'm willing for you to just be a low life. And so, what have we learned from all of these stories? That the individual rights change because we decide what is lawful and unlawful based on our desires, based on our dreams, and based on our wants from life. And we all have that. And yet we're told that if you have these wants and desires, we're brand new and labeled it. Two people do the same thing. Two people take a pill. One is a criminal, one's a customer. So we're comfortable with that. Two people sit at the front of the bus. Get ready for it. One is a customer and the other is a nigger. That's this law. I am not going to be branded with the scarlet N that I am told that I got to get to the back of the bus because of legislation. And anybody who thinks it's different, because after all, I'm not born a pothead. Well, I think anybody was. I'm not born a pothead, so I don't have the same right to rights. Well, you have a choice. Black people do not. Yes, they did. Stay away from white women. Don't go to lunch counters. You had a choice. You chose to be free. How dare you? And that's what we're choosing here, is freedom. And apparently, this is not a crime because I'm still standing here. And they're just hoping to just wear me down. What do they think? Wear me down, I'm going to go away? You don't want me. Sooner or later, you got to come and get me. And I have to now make a stand here day after day. Well, until closing. If they close and I'm still standing here, I'm going home. We'll start the day anew. No, I can't. I can't, because if I go home, they'll get me there. Oh, no. I see a motel room in someone's future.
Look, she's got
Bomb, chicken, bomb, John.
See?
Yes!
Yay!
Yes!
No man's right.
Good for you.
Where's the one?
I'm selling weed. Tell them inside. I'm selling weed right here now. I don't mean to say. What did I say? I know, right?
Oh, right.
Someone else can get away from this second.
You took the deal.
Oh, no, they're going to go back and tell me, man, I see this dude out front, he took a big snitch deal. He was fucking around selling weed, they were arrested for a big snitch on now. That's what they're trying to do now by not arresting me. They're putting a snitch tag on me, man. Oh, man. They put the snitch tag on me, man. Look, I'm bulletproof. in this town, man, if you're black or a pit bull and you bark, you get shot. They blasted my pit bull in the face. All he did was just look at it. He didn't have a chance to bark. It's in their code. Hi, what brings you here?
I was downstairs.
I mean, we all want to see the bus. It's like when we watched that flying millennium guy. I tuned in to see him drop. I wanted him to drop to his death. Are you the officer of the law here to arrest me? First, I'm selling cannabis. Could you call somebody?
Oh, you're selling weed?
I am selling weed, yes. I can't actually sell it. I can only offer it because they bought my other bags. And I have the proceeds from the crime right here.
It didn't blow away.
It's ain't even going on my books, man. Somebody else got to put money on my commissary. This is gone.
I would have to care.
It's proceeds. Are you a lawyer?
I guess you don't care about it.
Good for you, sir.
I guess they care too much then. For what? I mean, if you don't care about it and I want to do it, what that mean? Okay, this is a protest. Gotcha.
Right.
It really ain't. I mean, you choose.
I am the law. No mens rea. And that means that the entity cannot tell me how to live my life. That they can't tell me to get to the back of the bus because they got legislation. That you can't tell me that I can't have sex with whoever I want with because they're the wrong color or the wrong sex. That's too much. I'm not that smart. They want to create a system where we're all going to mess up. I'm a junior high school dropout. I have a criminal record. So you can't expect for me to be smart enough to understand your version of freedom. That it's for people who have PTSD or Crohn's or... I'm never on the list. We can never have a list. Do you realize that the only reason that legislation exists is so there can be a list to tell other people that legislation doesn't represent you? Hello, I'm running for office. Vote for me and we'll stand against them. What do you say? Because aren't we all against them? Whoever them may be. Or those. Don't forget about those. Everybody's against those, right? Yeah. I'll be one of those. It's bad enough to be one of them. So when you have comprehensive legislation that says it will represent practically everybody, and you have this legalized, medicalized, decriminalized marijuana bill, and you say that now it represents almost everybody, well, hell, only 3% of the country wasn't allowed to ride at the front of the bus, so what was the big deal? 97% of the people in America, including black people, are an undercover cop. That's an undercover janitor. He don't have that feel. He don't have that cop feel.
No, he just had his head down.
He had a badge.
Yeah, he had a badge gun.
Oh, well, there you go. They make them spare around here.
You can read them around here.
So we have to learn to stand up, not to say whether or not you smoke weed or not. So you have to, if only black people supported black causes, there would be no success to black causes. So I need the people who don't smoke weed to stand up and say, man, that's bullshit. I want to build schools, not jails. How about that? Vote for me. And I'll tell you what, you give me all my party people and I'll let you keep the low-life scumbags with guns in their hands. How about that? Just give me back all the party people.
They give me all the weed smokers here. We can all go in one area. We agree to that, don't we?
They're going to send me off to prison. Spot, man. They're going to send me off to prison with my fellow violent offenders who committed no crime and committed no act of violence. And so, wow, so we all need to go home. If there's no name on the affidavit, you have to send them home. When does this rhetoric sound insane?
No man's right.
Like this. Why would I come back here, leave my cushy job as a strip club DJ, at Deja Vu Showgirls Hollywood and Vine?
Jesus.
I know it, right? At Deja Vu Showgirls Hollywood and Vine. And why would I leave that position in order to come here to get arrested? So, if I had a choice right now between going to the strip club tonight and going to prison tonight, which do you think I'd take? And thank you for playing. I left the strip club to be here to come back and fight them. He must answer for the injustice. Your DA and sheriff, Bill Gibbons and Mark Luttrell, respectively, came to my club over a $65 bust that brought the media, a 9-month-long sting operation, 19 months of wrongful incarceration, and then a jury trial. And they never had to answer for it. Put period pills and blood pressure medicine, a crack pipe, and some blunt roaches on the bar, and declared that this was a crime scene. I was a front for drug trafficking, dealing drugs in volume to minors.
Real quick, because my car's stuck in court downstairs, so I'm having to use it.
Oh, excellent.
Tell me, are you worried about going to prison? Like, talk to me about that.
Going to prison is as terrifying a moment as I could possibly imagine since I've never been to prison. And I've been to jail for a total of 40 months in my entire life over prohibition-related charges. And it looks like right now, I'm not sure what the sentencing guidelines are in 12 years. But what I'm looking at right now is years in prison. I have to fight the guts off. So I'm terrified, but I knew going in this was what it was going to be. I'm not wide-eyed believing that I was going to proselytize people in my lifetime. It took 84 years from Paisley, Alabama, that the Supreme Court declared in 1883 Negroes and Caucasians could not mate because it would make mongrel babies. It took 84 years to make the Virginia children and the prohibition against interracial marriage. So as I told the jury, there's no such thing as slow and steady progress. It's stuck on stupid. It took this long, from here to there, for the Negro to be allowed to sit at the front of the bus because there was no more prohibition. The speed of stupid was the 400 years in between. So how long will it take before humanity accepts that we're free at birth, not slave to legislation?
Real quick, just so I have right. You have up to 12 years, or they sentence you to 12 years?
I'm going up there to be sentenced. I'm trying to get up there, but they won't take me. And so I'll be just standing out here very shortly. That's all right. My point has been made. Yes, they've said 12 years, and I don't know whether they're doing 35%. I'm a violent offender. Under cover of darkness, there'll be enhancements. I don't know what. I don't know. The President of the United States, Herr President himself, wants me executed. And, you know, he's really popular. He's more popular on Twitter than I am, so maybe I deserve to be executed. I don't know. I mean, check in. I don't care. Whatever it is, that's what's going to be here. If they ever come and get me before I, drop dead. Goodness, are you here to arrest me, sir? I am selling cannabis, the deadly Schedule 1 narcotic.
Hey, come buy some then.
You on that. You see that? See, I read the media out here. I reach out profoundly. It's time to stop being the bark catchers for these corruption.
It's one of those different though. Let me do that though. What's that? I would have been slammed. I would have said that.
Okay.
Real time. Okay. Put that on that.
Now, this is what we have to do. We have to make it clear. Hang on for a second. We have to make it clear that the corruption that goes on in this community can't be laughed off anymore. Everybody knows we have the most corrupt DA. You go to thornepeters.com, you go to the conspiracy button, and you just hit one button after another that's bigger than anything she's ever been busted on. It brings to focus how much money you have spent on this corruption. I have polarized it by allowing them to commit these acts of corruption. Falsified reports and planted evidence. They have misused the system on me alone. They represent a quarter of and they want more blood from me. And now what I must make clear is it's not just, I thought I lost my blood. And then I would have, they'd have no reason to not arrest me for doing nothing. So we have to make it clear that every time in order to prosecute us for doing nothing to no one, they're willing to violate our rights. They're willing to falsify reports. They're willing to plant evidence. They're willing to give contradictory testimony and lie their faces off and hand in reports 8-9 months later that contradict themselves every time there's a problem, and I've got all the evidence. And then, of course, the greater struggle for humanity is a world where we no longer answer to the entity. That entity is not for the entity to even speak. The entity has no voice but to be heard, for the accuser to be heard. We need for that individual, for a court of law to respect the individual. And instead of respect legislation, it says some of us will never be free. Well, not just because I'm always on that list of those who will never be free, but also the agnostic, Yankee, Jew, I have no Irish. I came here to commit a crime. You know, for the tears out, you know that it's not a crime. I have nothing but reports and pages of those. Hello, would you please arrest me for dealing cannabis? And they look the other way. See that? Just walking right by.
There's another one for you.
They will not go. There he is. Point me out. That's the one selling the cannabis.
Take him
the
upstairs.
Deadly Schedule 1 narcotic. I want to know how many crimes I can stand here and commit, because there's a few others I'm willing to try out. See, I always say with rape, you know, it has to make sure you stick the landing. As long as it doesn't end. Do you see this? This is what happens. Did you think for a moment that they were not going to? Did you think for a moment cops would just be walking by going,
DA.
Here I am, coming up on hour 2 with my butt buster song. Hello. Hashtag no betray, I'm the law. If you lawyers will say it, I don't have to say it anymore. It's just like everybody else, I'm sick of fucking listening to me. I tuned off this program about an hour ago. I had a 5-minute rant. I have been up all night. Well, I've been up for all week. I mean, I've been up for days. I had 5 minutes in me. That was the last 5 minutes I didn't use on her. And so here I am, and I'm done, Jack. And yet, I guess I'm just getting started. I guess we're going to start to have to build me supplies because I am going to hold down the fort. Where's the big giant garbage can for me to shit in? Okay, there it is. You should get me for that. Somebody alert Judge J. Robert Carter Jr. It's time to go put a microphone in his face. Let's see, what about his accusations, Judge J. Robert Carter Jr.? That's not once but twice. That they judge shopped me across. Have you ever heard the Judge Paula Scahan tape that I sent you where they are plotting with Pamela Diane Stark of the ADA, who said that they're going to recuse themselves? The state beats you, Judge, and they're over there whispering and setting it up. They judge shopped me across. Actually sell it. This is my last bag, but just tell them you were here at the pot sale today. It's time for us to be free, so we can get high and do things, whatever we want to do. And so I want to know from Judge J. Robert Carter Jr. how in the hell you got here. Carolyn Wade Blackett was told the day after she was assigned and so she said she would stay on that bench forever. She would fight till the death until the day I got there, and that's the very day she left. I was covered by Caitlin Alexander on Channel 3 News. Oh my God. Be careful, Angel. That's one of my packs. Still out there in the wind.
Again.
So, yeah. Stacey. No, let them go. That's right. And tell them I'm dealing weed for Christ's sakes. Come on, Creed. Come on.
Another puff.
How many more Sylvester Stallone ones can I use, right? I am the law. I've got faith I can take this back. We took back 420 from Adolf Hitler, so that took a lot of doing. And 420 is now ours. You all remember the moment I said right here on this very spot, smoking pot, rubbing out, telling them we come back again. So Judge J. Robert Carter Jr., there's a page on my Facebook page. Share it with you. The questions that must be asked. These questions must be asked. Why did you do this? And this gives you the power to go put the microphone in the face of Judge J. Robert Carter Jr. Why wasn't I arrested? Why wasn't the Kingpin arrested for the very crime he's going to prison for? Hello! I am dealing pot. I will